Hey YouTube, it's the Daily Driver here, and on today's video, we're going to be reviewing this beautiful 2015 Honda Civic Sport. We're going to start by walking around the exterior, then we'll go on the interior, go over some of the features, and then we'll give it a drive. Okay, just starting from the front end of the vehicle, we'll see here on the front bumper, you can see the chrome accents that go across there. Give the car a bit of style. Adds a little spice to it, so to speak. Then you have the 16-inch sport wheels, better than the hubcaps. Kind of gives that a little more style to the vehicle. And you can see that the lines in the vehicle, they're very subtle, very sleek from front to back. There's nothing that just really sticks out at you. And I like that about it. You can see that, just that subtle line going down there, running the length of the vehicle. In the back here again, the accenting, the chrome there, the red and white lighting in the back with the black paint definitely gives it a nice look. Now, one thing that you're going to notice on this side that wasn't on the other side of the vehicle is going to be this Lanewatch camera. And you can see that right there. We'll go over that when we're on the interior of the vehicle. And then of course with the Sport Edition as well, you have the sunroof, moonroof. And we'll just go right back up here to the front. And again, very sleek and subtle styling from front to back on this car. Now, getting into the vehicle is really cool because I have a proximity remote, and that's what the car's key is. So all I have to do is I could have this in my pocket or whatever. I just touch the door handle and it unlocks it. I could pull it open. Also, if you see here, there's this little black button, and there's one on the passenger door as well. I press that, locks the vehicle up. So getting into the car, you can see we have our standard window controls here, our door locks and unlock. You can control your right and left mirror with those buttons there. Also, you can see we have this beautiful soft cloth interior that's very comfortable. It's getting in here. You can see everything's pretty basic, but for a Honda Civic, they really did it in 2015 with this one, specifically the Sport Edition. We got traction control, economy mode. You have Bluetooth, you can hook up your phone through here. This controls a lot of the stuff on the dash. We'll go over that. Then we also, for the Sport Edition, we do have the push start button to start and stop the car. Here's all our climate controls. And then you can see also that we have an HDMI port, which is really cool. We have our USB and our power outlets there. Also, if you look inside here in the center console, we also have a USB port here. I like this because this slides forwards and backwards depending on how long your arm is or whatever. You want a little more comfortability, you just pull that out and it's very comfortable. Have our standard 2-cup holders here. In the back of the vehicle, we just have our standard window controls here as our window locks on both sides. You can see here, we still have this center armrest as well as 2 extra cup holders here in the back for any passengers that are back here. If you're trying to fit 5 people, 5 adults, whatever, you just roll that up and you got your extra space there. Now there's 2 ways to open the trunk on this car. One's going to be the trunk release button on the driver floorboard, and as well as the key fob. We have a trunk release right here. I hold that, pops open the trunk, very convenient to get on in, and you can see just how much space is in the back here. There's actually quite a bit of space. We pull this up here, we have our spare tire and the jack and everything else we need to change the flat tire. Also, we do have 60-40 split rear seats, which make this thing a lot more roomy than if you didn't have this. So I'm going to pull these buttons here, as you can see. So I've got the seats down here in the back, and we'll look from the trunk just to show you how much through and through space you have. It's actually quite a bit. If you wanted to sleep in this car, you definitely could with those seats down. And under the hood here, we have the 1.8 liter 4-cylinder producing 143 horsepower, but that's extremely smooth power with the CVT transmission that this car is hooked up to. Just makes it such an enjoyable ride. And we're gonna go ahead and get out on the road right now. Now to start the car up, you can see literally the car tells us exactly what we need to do. So we press the brake and then we push the engine start and we're ready. You can see our 7-inch touchscreen here. We do have volume buttons here, which I really think they are very distracting if you're driving the car. It's just very not convenient because there's no turn dial button or knob to control the volume except for over here on the steering wheel, which makes it a lot more convenient. This is usually what I use when I'm controlling the volume. We also have our RPM gauge here. You can see this little green leaf light on, that green thing there, that's the eco button. So watch when I press that button off, that takes the economy mode off, back into economy mode. That shows you're in economy mode up there. You can see we have our miles that we're doing on average per gallon, our range, how many more miles left we have. It shows the temperature, the time, and then we have our speed up here, and not a real accurate gauge of our MPG, but again, that's showed right there. That's city driving. And then we have our gas gauge over here, and that shows us exactly where we're at on fuel. Now, one of my favorite features about this car is when you turn your right hand turn signal on, see what it does? That's the Honda Lanewatch, which I explained to you earlier out there at the bottom of that mirror. Very cool feature. It does get annoying when you want to change channels though, and you got that on going or whatever. Anyways, you can turn that on and keep it on by just pressing the Lanewatch button here. So look, I go ahead and press this down, and I got my Lanewatch on. I don't even have to have my turn signal. Again, I can press that and it turns it off. So as I start driving, other than the comfortable seating and the spacious interior, the first thing I start to notice is how light the steering wheel is. I mean, I'm not used to that personally. I like stiffer steering wheels on older vehicles, but the steering on this thing is just absolutely precise and very light. I kind of enjoy it, I do. Now, when you start going at higher speeds, the steering is going to stiffen up, that way you don't oversteer. You're also going to notice when driving this car just how easy it is to hit the accelerator and for the responsiveness of this engine to really start going. And it's just absolutely instant, very light pedal, very easy to touch before you get going. Really enjoy that feature about it. Also, you're going to notice just how smooth this CVT transmission is. You're not going to feel that jerking as you do in a lot of other automatics, and that's because of the CVT system. I actually very much so enjoy that because it just makes your ride so much smoother. And yes, this car doesn't have that much power. 143 horsepower is really nothing in the car world today, but it makes up for the lack of power with its gain in economy miles per gallon. So when you're going on long trips or short trips around the city, you're going to notice just how much gas you're saving and how many fewer trips you're having to make to go to the gas station to fill up, because this thing is wonderful on gas mileage. So I have driven the standard model Honda Civic, and then obviously this one, the Sport Edition Honda Civic. And one of the biggest differences between the two is going to be the suspension, because the suspension on the Sport Edition is a lot stiffer, a little bit stiffer than the standard Honda Civic models are. But it's very much so enjoyable. It's not too stiff. It's still got a comfort feeling to it. You go over bumps and you barely even notice them. So having had driven this car on and off for the last 2 years or so, I've really got a good feel for this car, and it's been nothing but reliable and just so much fun to drive. I mean, for a Honda Civic, you'd think you'd be bored of it, that it gets boring, but no, this car is so much fun to drive and it doesn't get boring at all. Now, if I were to keep this thing for long term, it would be something that you would want to hang on to and drive for a couple 100,000 miles, because it's not going to leave you stranded on the side of the road, which leads to the reliability. This car has 35,000 miles. The only thing that we've had to do to this vehicle is just the oil changes. The tires haven't even been changed yet, nor have the brakes. So in terms of a reliability sense, at the mileage that it's at right now, Just spot on. So folks, that's going to be the end of my review here on this beautiful 2015 Honda Civic Sport. I thank you all for watching. If you haven't done so already, go ahead, subscribe to my channel down below and like this video. Now for future videos, go ahead and leave me some comments down in the comments section what you would like to see me do next. Something to spice things up a little bit. So if you could, go ahead and leave me some feedback. Thank you all for watching.